How do? Oh, that music's really loud. almost smooth. How do, everybody? JR here. Welcome. No, he's there. We've got VMXEO right here, co-hosting with us today.
Hello.
Hello. Big shout out to Ernest Gaming, Nightly Gaming. Hello. Welcome. Mini Flames. Drizteloth. Very nice. Ewan Carr, welcome. Paul Three Keys, hello. Welcome. Yes, it is finally, as Ewan Carr said, part 33 and a third of a Carrack build. We like to stretch these out for a couple of months. We don't launch kits very often. We got to space it out. How are we all? All good, I hope.
He might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Ewan Carr, thank you very much for the sub, much appreciated. Oh, and Mini Flames, thank you very much for the sub as well. Came in during the Darge Gaming. Yes. Oh, that coffee's really hot. It's nice. So yes, welcome. We are finally finishing this Carrack up. Because I wasn't here last week. We had a slight family thing. My mum was having a second hip operation done, and they released her like a day earlier than we expected, so I had to go and pick her up on Sunday. So I was going to pick her up. So that was good. That was good that she came out earlier, but all just threw all the plans into a bit of a cocked hat. So apologies for that. What's been happening here? We are obviously in the shop. I've done some more things to the tool wall, so we'll see there in the center of the screen there, those are the things that we built last stream, our sander and sandpaper holder racks. There's also some other racks that have been built since. For various
I just want to point out, I love all the black and yellow.
I am a huge DeWalt fanboy. It is true. I don't have many tools that aren't DeWalt, I've got to be honest. And I've also done a clamp rack, which is looking really empty because I have like 20 odd clamps in use at the moment, gluing stuff up. But that is a wall of clamps, which is nice. I still need more clamps. Carls can't believe how much money I can spend on clamps, but I could spend way more money on clamps than I have already. Has to be said. So the other thing we have to show off that arrived is this. For all of you who are unaware, Mr. Paul Jones, amazing man that he is at CIG, senior concept artist at CIG, has released a book, a proper book, basically about how to get into the games industry as an artist. And how to, literally a career guide of how to get to where he has got to. And it is insanely comprehensive, really nicely written, awesome artwork. If you want to be a games artist and get into the games industry, this is definitively the book to have. And I really hope he does the audiobook. He's doing a massive AMA at some point. He hasn't released the date of it. We will make sure that we let you guys know when it is, when he's doing it. My big question is going to be, is he going to read the audiobook version of this? Because everyone knows PJ has the best sultry voice out of all the CIG devs.
You know, I checked his Twitter account just before we went live, and I think he said this Friday he's going to do the AMA on
it's this
Twitch.
Friday. Oh, nice. We will make sure that we promote the hell out of that, because it's a really good book. Thoroughly recommend it. Next time I see him, I will get a couple of copies signed from him, and we'll do some giveaways and give some of these copies away, signed by PJ. It's a fantastic book. Cool. Almost like we do this for a living. I know, right? You'd fucking think. It is lovely. I'm definitively settling into this workshop now. It's taken a little while. It was still a long way to go. You can kind of see there a hose coming down. So we now have a dust extract finally rigged up onto the CNC machine. So I had to make this huge arm, this 8-foot arm that comes out from the wall. Because In the old workshop, the CNC was up against two walls, so I could literally attach a swingy arm to the wall. But now it's sort of in the middle of the space, so I had to make a massive arm to stretch out to the middle of the table so that the hose can follow it around. But we now have dust extract on the CNC, which makes the world of difference. So I'm not spending my entire life sweeping up, which is amazing, because I was getting really bored of that. I've got to be honest. I was getting bored of that, so give it time. So yeah, no, it's, I can't decide whether I want this earphone in or not. So yeah, it's all good. What else have we been up to? We played Star Citizen last night. Just three of us. Me, VMXEO, and Daj jumped into a bit of last minute in the verse shenanigans. We should have probably streamed it, but it was just like, it was really last minute, and we were talking work as well. This often happens. Like, we'd love to stream always when the JRDF crew are playing Star Citizen, but a lot of the time it's sort of half playing Star Citizen, half meeting, because why the fuck not? So there's a lot of stuff that we can't stream, unfortunately. It's the only way we get away with it. Like, oh, we're just going to go and have a meeting, Cals. We're going to meet at Port Tresla. And yeah, but it was good. We did some jump tanning. I'd never done a jump tan mission before in this iteration of jump town, and we happened to be in a 400i, and we took a 400i down, and we just used it as a little turret, and we blew up some other ships that were trying to take us out, and we had the most movie worthy escape I think I've ever had in Star Citizen. It was genuinely tense. It was genuinely, players following us, trying to kill us as we zipped off into Quantum. It was insanely good. It was what Star Citizen is going to be, and already is. And that's the thing. It's like there is so much, you can get so much tension in Star Citizen and excitement from like genuinely cool scenarios like that. It is really, really cool. Their mission system is getting, yeah, we made up with 12 packages in the end. It was a good haul. We're going to do it again. We want more next time. I'm going to get greedier. We're going to take the Thunderchild. We're going to take the Hammerhead down and do the same trick.
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Jenna Toll, thank you very much for the sub. Thank you very much. I can't. Oh, Flanather, thank you for gifting the sub. I had to do that so I could read it. There's little white writing across my screen. Thank you very much. Nice. So what are we doing today? We're finishing the Carrack. We are finishing the Carrack because...
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Archer 440, thank you very much for the follow. So one little Easter eggy thing. So here is a Sabre. Mm-hmm. So those who follow our Twitter, hashtag Twitter in chat, may or may not do anything. Who fuck knows? Basically, I've been teaching Leela, my stepdaughter, how to do some of this magic. So she has fixed up, for its initial print, the Sabre in 1:500. So this isn't done. I'll see if I can coax my camera into focusing fairly well on it. So you can see the sort of wetness on the top, so that means there's a pocket of resin inside that's bleeding out a bit. These wings and flaps are way too thin at the moment, even for Tough 2000. There's a hole in the side of the cockpit there. Probably can't see it at this scale. So there's things that need fixing, but what we do to start with is fix all the geometry. So hand fix all the geometry of the ship so we can get it into a printer and get it to print at all. I mean, see how thin the wings are. You can see the light. If my cameras don't do that to me, the light goes through those wings. They're so thin, so they need thickening up, obviously, and we need to sort the print out. We need to decide what we're doing with landing gear and things. So one of the reasons why we do this initial print is to make these sort of decisions. So until we know exactly how big it is in our hand, it's a case of, well, like, so with the Arrow, when you buy an Arrow diorama from us, you get 3 in flight and 1 landed, because it's way too small to do the little landing gears as separate pieces. When you get a Cutlass Black, or Cutlass Red, or a Freelancer Max, Freelancer Dur dioramas, it's a bigger ship, and it's big enough to have those landing gears as separate glue-in pieces. So the Sabre sort of is obviously bigger than the Arrow and the Pisces, but smaller than the Freelancer. I think it's still within the range of basically doing 3 in flight, 1 landed. Again, it'll be in the larger diorama pack, but so to do the same trick as the Arrows, because I don't fancy doing the landing gear on the Sabre as separate glue-in pieces. Just don't fancy it. So that's cool. So she's done that for me. So I will finish this off as a diorama. She's now moved on to the Vanguard. So the Vanguard is now is the next one that she's tackling for us. So that will be the Vanguard and the Sabre heading towards the shelves as soon as we can get these last bits finished off on them. They will join the MSR for that sort of product drop, which is just around the corner, which is really nice. So we'll get some, and the Cutlass Blue. I will do the Cutlass Blue. I promise you, doing the Cutlass Blue. I completely forgot the Cutlass Blue was actually in game. So yeah, so we've got Sabre, Cutlass Blue, Vanguard, MSR, Gladius. I think that's it. Coming in, so that's cool. So that's the Sabre. It's a little bit of Sabre news. So yeah, I shall start getting this kit model out. Where were we previously on JRDF? Cutlass Purple. I've heard about the Cutlass Steel. That's apparently very popular. Oh no, wait. I will do the Cutlass Steel just for completionness, just because it'd be an easy one for us to do, because we've already done the other Cutlasses.
But it'll still have the premium surcharge on it, right?
Oh yeah, it'll be twice the price, definitely, for the same size kit. We'll say this quickly before Madness drops in, because it triggers him. It genuinely triggers him. Right, so for those who haven't been around for the previous 13 installments of me building this one fucking model, we've got everything off its supports. We've put all the magnets in. All we have left to do is glue it together, which sounds like, oh, it's a fucking model. Isn't that all of the building of it? So what, you've done like 10%? Interestingly not. So the Carrack and the Arrow, especially, out of the models that we do, there is so little of the model that's actually glued together, because so much of it is on magnets, that most of it's held together with magnets. So I think that might be all the parts. We're bound to find. I've got 2 Carracks in pieces in the same box, which is a really fucking bad idea. Right, so yeah, it can work now. So where do we start? So these are our 2 main bits. We're going to start with these. We've got our little Carrack stick here. So let's take this out. Got all our magnets in. This is the right stick, it is. So we have tools like this, which are really great for putting parts in and out, which is really handy. This comes with the kit. This is our Carrack stick. So we'll leave the hardest one for a little bit. Let's get ourselves warmed up. So we'll do the cargo pods first. So as I say, we did the magnets last time, so they're all fine. They stick onto the top of the cargo deck ceiling like that. Yes, feel free to stick questions in chat. VMXio will read them out as they come in, so that I can concentrate. That's what we have co-hosts for, our beautiful co-hosts. I have talked about PJ's book, The Legend That Is PJ. So, So the reason this part comes in different parts is so that we could get the magnets inside, and then we can just glue the little doors on. So we've made the join, this line here, the actual join of the door, which is kind of handy for what we want to do. There. So this doesn't take a lot of glue. We just want a tiny bit around the edge. So this is the first time I've had this particular glue. I've used this glue plenty, this Loctite super glue gel, but this dispenser, we're going to call it a dispenser, tube, whatever what you want to call packaging this is, it's fucking excellent. You've got so much control over the application of it. Usually I don't like using the actual super glue tube package itself as the applicator, but this I like. It's so accurate, because when I say accurate, I don't mean the nozzle small. I mean, you squeeze it to release it, and it comes out exactly as fast as you want it to come out, which is lovely. So that's one. That's all it took. But that's one side. Grab the next one. Oh, so this is our open one. So this is the diorama piece with the thing open. So we don't need to do anything to this. This is just a diorama piece that you would have next to your Carrack as an open cargo container. So that we don't need to do anything with. All the doors are the same, by the way. There's 6 identical doors. So you don't need to match them up. They are common parts. Doesn't need a lot of glue for these. It's not doing anything structural. Oh, no. So please give feedback on audio today. I've turned the NVIDIA filter down a little bit so that you'll hear a little bit of background noise, which today, if you can hear it, is a lot of rain and thunder and wind. That's the ambience we're going with today. No choice in that. That's just the ambience of Scotland this week. So there's 3 of these to do.
You almost got a JRDF ASMR stream today. The rain going on the outside, yes. And JR's soft voice explaining how to assemble a Carrack.
Yes. While the wind blows around in stereo around you. See, I should have checked I had all 6 before doing that, shouldn't I? I knew there'd be something left in the box.
What's in that box?
We got a quick question here from Unknown Bagel, which I love that name, by the way. Favorite ship to fly and favorite ship to look at? Any changed any?
Oh, favorite ship to fly, I guess. Oh, was in the back of the Carrack. Favorite ship to fly. I did really like the Reliant. I don't have a Reliant anymore, but I did quite like flying the Reliant, just because of the sort of B-wing thing. But I do like flying big ships as well. So probably my favorite ship to fly at the moment is the Hammerhead, just because I love cruising around in that thing. It's an absolute beast, and I do like flying it. I like having to dock with it rather than land. I think that's really nice. So yeah. Favorite ship to look at, still the Hammerhead. I love the amount of guns on that thing. It's ridiculous. Now this will all change when the Hull series comes out, because I am a big Hull fan, but I won't say they're my favorite ships to fly or do anything with until they're in our hands. Soon TM. Did Dudley and Eunice do much damage up there? Dudley more than Eunice. I mean, we're Scotland, so we're used to getting blown about a bit up here. So we were fine. There were trees down and stuff, but nothing out of the ordinary for this part of the world. So I have Hull A and Hull E, but I'm looking forward to having A and C when they come out. I'd love a Hull F. That would be amazing.
I upgraded my A to a Raylan, and I almost regret it now. Almost.
Almost. So this one, we don't need to do anything with. I don't think I've actually got the acrylic stands with me today. So this is the cargo pod that the acrylic stands go into. So when you want to display your Carrack on its acrylic stand, you just pull one cargo pod out and then slot that on the top. So it's a nice way of doing the stand without having to have a great big hole in the bottom of the Carrack. But there's nothing else we need to do to this. We've put the magnets in, so that's ready. So we'll put that in the done pile. Right, what else we got? We've got these. So this is a landed wing or shield. So we need to put some landing gear in it. So it just literally sits in there. It sits in quite nicely by itself. It's got we've missed a little support. So we've missed some a little like hairline internal support there that I obviously missed when we were doing that. So I'll just nip that out. Oh, there's another one. There you go. Wasn't paying attention, obviously. There we go. Sometimes there's these little hairliney type ones. So there's a little hole just on point. You won't be able to see it, but there's a little shaped hole just there and in there, and that marries up with those two bits. So we'll just dry fit it, make sure it fits. Yes, we're happy with that. So this just wants 3 little dobs of glue, one on the end of there, one on there, and one down here. They're the 3 points that sits on. Now we deliberately did this piece out of Tough 2000 resin because it is taking quite a lot of the weight of the model when it sits on these landing gears. Because, like most Star Citizen ships, it has 3 points of contact. Now I wonder whether that is something they do to make their life easier. I wonder if having 3 points of contact means you don't have them up in the air so much. Because let's see, because the Hammerhead only has 3 points of contact. Freelancers only have 3 points of contact. Supported by 3 points, always stable. Yeah. Well, it depends. 4 points of contact is more stable if they can correct themselves. That's why you don't have many 3-legged chairs. But obviously when you're on uneven ground, as long as the ship can use its hydraulics to, self-level and use its hydraulics effectively, 4 points of contact is better. Or just go the fucking caterpillar route of have 1,000 legs. That's how many legs you need. Millions of them. So that's that one. That's all we need to do to that. Just put that away to dry. So there should be another one of those. There it is. So there isn't a left and right on these. They are symmetrical. So you don't have to worry. The landing gear's the same for both sides. So you don't need to worry about that.
Now we do have a question about the paint job on it. So
okay.
Nightly Gaming asks, is this going to be sprayed gold, or are we going to see some JR artistry?
Now, Nightly Gaming is being facetious since that's Brett and one of our painters. So he's wondering whether he gets to watch me make an arsehole of painting this is what's going on there. For that, I might just make him paint it silver. You're not going to see me paint this. That's not what's happening here. No, we need. On a serious note, we need to get Nightly Gaming to come and actually do a painting stream for us, because you guys ask for painting tips of how to paint our models all the time, and it's just like I'm not the person to ask. I can't paint for shit. That's not my forte. I'd like to think a relatively wide breadth of skills. Painting is not in that skill set at all. All right, let's get that to go in the little hole. There we go. Just hold that for a few seconds. Yeah. I assume that the Caterpillar has so many legs so it can lose half of its landing gear and still be able to land. Potentially. Oh, that was another thing. So I saw one of the first new Rex yesterday as well. Me and Daj found one of the new Caterpillar Rex, and we made an interesting
I'm just
observation.
happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Hey, it's Sturge Up Ender.
Thank you very much for the follow.
Follow?
So we made an interesting observation of this particular crash site in that there was no command module. So we think that the command module was detached mid-air, and that got us talking about, well, what happens with the Caterpillar when you detach its command module? Will the engineer still be able to keep the rest of the ship in the air? Because obviously it has its own power plant, its own thrusters. Could you manually fire the thrusters to stop it crashing? There's no avionics potentially, so there's no, but it's interesting. So what's going to happen? Now, personally, I think that it should be the case that you're not allowed to detach the command module where there's gravity. I mean, I think that should just be a thing. But what would happen?
I have another question that leads to.
Go on.
If you're in a Drake ship, does that mean the engineer always goes down with the ship instead of the captain?
Well, there was quite a few dead bodies on the ground. This was another interesting thing that came up in this conversation. There was dead bodies on the ground, no command module. So the captain of that ship was not very noble. Or the pilot wasn't. Whoever has the button to go release was like, screw you guys, I'm out of here. Right, so this is the in-flight wing shield. So we've got the little scanner aerial to go into there. So again, just a little bit of glue on that. So it was quite interesting. We flew around the whole area to see if it had crashed nearby or something, but no, nothing. Not a sign of it. Missed a few little touch points there. So it was nice to be able to identify all the bits of it, see where all the engines had crashed and stuff. But yeah, no command module.
Make
Very
for a fun
suspicious.
Bonus mission, track down the command module.
Yeah, I can't wait till that thing is separatable. I think that'll be really cool. There was another debate that we came up with last night as well. What were we debating? Oh, right, yes. So here's a good one. Here's one for you to muse about. If you get a so say you go down to a site, and I've lost the other aerial. Wait a minute. So say you go down to do a mission, you land your ship, you get out your ship, you go and do a mission, you get arrested while doing that mission. What happens to your ship? Or rather, what should happen to your ship? Because what Daj experienced was he woke up in Klesher, and his ship went to Klesher as well, but he couldn't get his ship at Klesher. So he respawned back in his location, and when he went to look where his ship was, it was at Klesher.
I didn't know Klesher had an impound lot.
Well, this is the thing. So I guess it's kind of cool that it does. But it got us debating what should happen in perfect scenario, what should be going on.
All right, let me throw something out there. In typical sci-fi movie, if you're going to break out of space prison, you have to get your ship out.
Well, that's
your ship is locked up somewhere.
That's it. I've had to be really cheeky here and steal one of my other ones that I've already glued together because I've lost me one of my little aerials. It might turn up.
Nightly Gaming, my condolences for your graphics card. I am so sorry. This is not the time to have lost a graphics card.
Oh, it definitely isn't. Oh my God. We're trying to get cards at the moment for the team, and it's just it's a nightmare. It's just not happening at all. Right, okay. So we've done the wings. That's cool. What's next? let's have a pile of stuff that doesn't need gluing in. So all of this stuff that I'm going to put in a pile here is all stuff that we've already magnetized that just goes together on magnets or gets push fitted in. Or doesn't get attached at all, like the little rover and the landed Pisces. So all of this, none of this needs glued in. So many pieces, no gluing. Okay. So all of that stuff can just go away for the minute, because that's all interchangeable stuff that we don't glue. So is that. So is that. So is that. Okay. So there's not got a lot left. So we've got engines. Now this kit has options for engines. So you've either got a clear set of engines if you want to do a lit version of the ship, or solid engines. We're doing the solid engines, so the transparent ones can go away. So we'll just check the fit. We did do a dry fit and everything, so that's fine. So we'll just, I'm going to put the glue into the hole rather than onto the piece, just in case. That's just a little bit of good practice, just in case we ended up wiping the glue on the way in onto another part of the ship. So these are literally, so there's a little collar for them to sit against. That sits in there. Do the other big one. Obviously, one of the funniest things we got asked when we were doing the Carrack model, when we first announced the Carrack model, was someone facetiously asked us whether we were going to do all the different types of engines.
Wonder who. It was JR.
Westbrook Drew, 197. What an interesting. Oh yeah, so sad you missed a playtest, PlayStation 2. It was amazing. I say it was the tensest, most exciting. Like I felt like it was in a movie. It was like, thank you, Chris Roberts. That was a genuine experience I would not have had if it wasn't for Star Citizen. No other game could have done that. It's amazing.
I think yesterday we made the decision to pull out of Jumptown when the missiles started raining down around us.
Yeah, and like when we
right
suddenly
call.
became the target of 5 or 6 people, and I was thoroughly impressed by the 400i. It stood up to it. It took a pounding. We managed to kill 1 or 2 ships with me in its top turret, which is not like a combat turret, but we still took out a few other people. So that's the engines in. So we'll just leave that to glue. So that's fine. So that's it, apart from what we've got left. We've got these 2 joining bits, which we can't put in until we've joined the 2 main sections together.
We've got a question here from Archer really quick. He wants to know if it's easy enough to open up to change out batteries if you put LEDs in.
So, what my suggestion would be is, if we look on the bottom of the ship here, take that out. Look how easy that is with our Carrack stick. So this is magnetized in. This is the landing gear when it's folded up. And before we'd have to get a knife in because it's, there's no gap. There's deliberate no gap. The Carrack stick just pulls it out because it's got a big magnet on the inside. That's the thing I'm happiest about that we invented for this model. So this bit here is the sort of big opening where the cargo bay is. This is the cargo bay roof that fits in here. That's what the cargo bay, the cargo pod's attached to. Now we're going to glue this in, maybe, but it's a deliberately tight fit so that if you do want to put LEDs inside, what we recommend is this is your way in and out of the ship. It'll be a little bit of a pain to get out. Will the Carrack stick help? No, the Carrack stick's repelling it, unfortunately. So you will probably have to sort of get a little sharp in or something to get it to pop back out. But that is a nice huge opening for your wagon. A bit of blue tack on a stick would be able to pull that out, something sticky. Again, if you don't necessarily have to paint the middle of this, or it doesn't matter if you damage the paint because you don't really see it. I mean, this is just what the cargo pods are sticking to on magnets. So as a way of getting in and out of the ship, this is what we would recommend, and that gets you into the body of it so that you can hide your battery packs and stuff in there. Obviously, LEDs don't need massive batteries anyway, so that was our thinking on this. So let's glue the main body together. It's kind of like I've been putting it off, even though it's step 1 in the instructions. It's like, yeah. Right, so the join on this is really complicated. Why is it really complicated? Well, we wanted to do it so when you put it together, its natural panel line is as nice as possible. So it is a little bit ridiculous. So we've hidden a panel line underneath that. So you can see when I pull it back apart, this is on one piece, and then the little lid over it is on the other. So we've hidden that join underneath it, and yeah, stuff like that we have done. So I'm going to put it back together, and we did dry fit this 7 months ago, or whenever it was. So I just want to take a little look. One thing I have realized, my workshop has much better lighting than where we did this last time. So I'm noticing things, and it just goes to show, make sure you've got good lighting where you're doing model work, because it means you miss less things. Put it the right way up, John. That'll work. Idiot. So yeah, so that's going in there nicely. So this one on the bottom is a paint line. So although we can see this join line, that is a major join line actually on the ship itself, and it's a paint line. So we're not too worried about it. This bit here is the only bit where on each side is a bit where there is a slight panel line where there shouldn't be a panel line. That's the only point where there is a panel line when there shouldn't be actually on the ship. So we don't think that's too bad for such a big ship join line. So I'm happy with that, ready for some glue on that. So we're going to make sure, we're going to go around making sure we've got the right amount of glue on this. So we want to make sure we've got a little bit on all of these surfaces that are going to be part of the join. So that's why we've put it together a few times, just to get into our head how this goes together. Because what we don't want to put too much glue on, because we don't want it pushing it out. But we also want to make sure that we're taking advantage of every surface we can to get a nice strong join. Like that. And then we're going to wiggle it back together again. Okay. That's nice, it's not squeezed any glue out. I'm just going to hold that, just give it a little bit of pressure, it doesn't need a lot. If you need to put loads of pressure on it to get it to fit together, you've not done enough sanding and fitting from that point of view. If you want to get really modelly, as I'm sure a lot of you do, you can do a little bit of fillering to get that seam absolutely seamless. I'm quite happy with it. Less glue is better, indeed. It is super glue. You do not need a lot of it. Okay. Tiny bit coming out there. Let's just clean that up. Didn't bring my cotton buds. Let's just let that sit there for the moment. Right, I don't want to let, yeah. So the other sensible thing is, yeah. Let's not touch it for a minute. Yes, what a good question. Is this a bench with a saw in it? While we're leaving this to dry, I will take you through the saw bench, because I am really pleased with the saw bench. So we designed this on stream a couple of months ago, when we knew we were moving into the shop, and it is now finished-ish. One day I will replace the top on it, just because this was a scrappy piece of melamine MDF that I had. So yes, I did realize when we were prepping for the stream, I did realize that my phone was here and I hadn't turned off the table saw at the wall, and just by my leg here. Oh no, which way are we going? Oh, right. Fuck that up, because I've got the blade out of line there. So yeah, so my phone was there. It's like, well, what could possibly go wrong? I don't know. So yeah, so this is the most dangerous PC desk in the world, because it has saws that come out of it. It's like a sort of James Bond.
This is why Callus keeps a very close eye on the stream.
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps you on your toes when you're doing CAD and you've got your mouse here. It's like, I know. It doesn't bear thinking. This is a monster table saw as well. This is a big 3-phase saw as well. It's an old saw, but it's underneath it a Start-Right saw. It's lovely. I love my saw. It was a piece of crap before we built it into this desk, to be honest, because it's really old. And the fence was, shoggly as hell. So we have a proper fence on it, a Rutland's fence on T-track. Another T-track underneath here with a measure on it. And the other exciting thing we have in this bench now is a table router as well. And since last time, I've actually mounted switches and things on the side for controlling the table router. So that's all now sitting there. So it's really easy to use, which is super, super awesome. Am I still working on the MSR? I am, I promise. I promise I'm still working on the MSR. We're in this sort of situation where we've, which button? That one. We've moved into this new shop. We're in the middle of a massive project at the moment. Now that sort of COVID's winding down or people have stopped caring about it in the UK, we get to do big stuff again. So you can see all the wood behind me, many wood. So we're sort of building big things again, which has and will slow down the kit model somewhat. But I say we have, as part of the MSR's launch window, we have our first prototype print of the Sabre. So that's cool. So it'll be Sabre, Cutlass Blue, Vanguard, MSR, are all dropping together as dioramas, which is nice. JR got wood? I did. Lots of it. All the wood. So yeah, it's cool. It's nice to be in the shop. It's nice that it's finally kind of coming together. It's still a little bit to go to get it all like super sorted. So through there, I need to put a door on that. We need to get this, can I pick this up without breaking it? So that compressor that's sitting there, that's no longer attached to anything at the moment. I'm waiting for Cal's dad to come up to Scotland and help me strip that apart and get it running. It works, but I don't trust it. I know it sounds awful, but it was built in 1958. And I really want to properly service it and clean it up before we start running it. Because I do want to run it as our actual workshop compressor, because it's such a behemoth. Yes, let me demonstrate just how big this damn thing is. Wait a minute. If I can do this without unplugging my camera. You really don't see. So everyone bear in mind that I am fat and 6'2". This thing is an absolute behemoth. These cylinders, I do not know how big these cylinders are. We will measure them when we take them apart. But yeah, it weighs nearly a ton. Maybe a bit more. It was hard to lift. The thing I'm most excited, you won't be able to see, but on the back here there is actually a whistle valve as a pressure relief, like you get on trains and like traction engines, because it's of that era. So I'm going to have a thing so I can go with the valve. But yeah, it's an absolute behemoth. I love it. It came with the shop.
JR, we've got some more workshop questions here, by the way.
Oh, yes, go on.
Mark III Generic wants to know if the wall organization French cleats are fixed.
Fixed. So I did think about doing the French cleat system, but to be honest, I just screwed the things to the fucking wall. And if I want to move them, I'll unscrew them from the wall and screw them on somewhere else. I've sort of decided where everything's living, but like I could just unscrew stuff. And everything has a back to it. I know you can't see because the wall is birch ply and these are birch ply as well. But like this isn't this. This is a self-contained thing with screws screwing onto the wall. So French cleats are fine, But I'm not going to move stuff around a huge amount, if we're honest. This is what we did on the last stream, our beautiful sanders. So we have air sanders, which aren't DeWalt, these are Mirka. But I did buy a new DeWalt cordless sander. I've never had a cordless sander before. So it uses the 18 volt XR batteries. So it's like, ooh. You can't hear that because I've got the thing on. But yeah, so I've got a cordless sander for the first time. Never owned one of those before. So that's quite nice. So yeah, all the router bits. So these are the router bits for these routers rather than the CNC. I love my routers. I have those two. I have the table router. I have the CNC router. I love routers. They're my favorite tool. By far, my favorite tool.
Yeah, there is at least one forest worth of trees. Plywood.
Yeah. So this rack behind me, this is all the stuff that's come off the CNC. So this is all scrap wood. So this is all like the bits that have come off the excess. Because I obviously don't want to waste it, but this is going to have to go away soon. And a new pallet will have to come here, and these will have to go up on the racking shelf and go somewhere else. I don't know what I'm doing with it all yet. Ideally, I would love to turn this into a burnable material to heat my house with, because heating our house is really expensive because it currently works on LPG because we live in the middle of nowhere. So I want to kind of run our central heating off it. Would be amazing. And yeah, the best way I think to do it is to get a pallet shredder to chip it down. So I've got a friend who knows someone in Dumfries that I know as well, but I won't call him a friend. He owns a tool shop that I'm not allowed to go to because Cal knows I'll spend way too much money at it. It's like a Christmas shop for me. It's just a massive tool place, privately owned tool place. It's amazing. But it's where I'll go to buy welders and things, like big agricultural stuff. But he's got a pallet shredder. So it's a shredder rather than a... it's not a chipper. A chipper, so like a tree chipper, if you like cut down bits of trees and then like feed it into a chipper, they tend to be really high speed. They run on like big V8 engines a lot of the time, and like the ones that can do huge bits of wood, and it's all about the speed. And you can't throw nails and things into it because blades running at that kind of speed will just get absolutely mullered by nails and screws and all that kind of shit. So the other way, and it's designed for round things because it's bits coming off trees. Whereas I need something that can take something that's 4 feet wide, because I don't want to have to pre-cut all this shit down into smaller bits. I just want to feed the sheets. This is 2 weeks worth of cutting. And it wasn't even solid cutting. I don't want to spend half my life cutting this shit up. I just want to be able to feed it into a thing. And these pallet shredders are low speed carbide teeth. You know, the things that like shred cars and stuff. And it just pulls out, so it pulls nails out and all this sort of stuff. So it doesn't matter what you put in it. They'll actually shred metal as well. So that would be the ideal, to get this into a wood chip form so that it can then go into a wood chip boiler. This stuff burns so well. Birch ply, its glue is glass fiber based, so it doesn't have horrible stinky glues like MDF that's held together with formaldehyde and things like that. So it's legally allowed to be burnt, even in smokeless areas. It's really nice. So yes. But yes.
And that is exactly what the reclaimer has on the inside of it for shredding.
Yes,
we'll go with
basically, it is one of those. It is one of those. Runs slower than that, but yeah, it's they're amazing. They kill anything. Carbide is such a strong material. It doesn't lose against anything, apart from more carbide usually. Rocket vortex burner. I haven't looked at that. We have to have a look at that. So I'd love it to heat my house. It'll be interesting at the end of this year how big that stack is weight-wise. I don't know how we'll weigh this. I do have pallet scales. No, I don't. I have my scales only go up to 300 kilos, and I think this will already be more than that. If this was solid wood, that amount is 2.5 ton. Once it's a little bit higher than that. So just in that, a full pallet of, so that's 18 there. So I've used just half of that now, and that was 2.5 ton solid. So if we assume that I've been decently effective with using my sheets, but I have then filled the gaps with scrap other bits, we'll say I'd still think that's over 0.5 ton already. So it's a decent amount of wood. I don't want to throw it away. What we used to do is have a huge bonfire at the end of every big job, so that as a bit of a celebration. But yeah, it is a huge waste, and then we have to pay for loads of gas to heat our house. So it would be nice to use this stuff to heat our house. So this is now glued. I have decided. Third time
That
looking, I
beautiful
guess.
Carrack model.
I do like the Carrack model. I like it a lot more than the Carrack. I've got to be honest, I'm not a huge Carrack fan. Too much of a misc boy. So these little things go here. So I'm going to show you what this is doing. So what I did, move the camera, John, to where you want it to be. There you go. Well done. Good streamer. So to hide a part of this join, I separated that little part of the model out so we could drop these in as little connector pieces. It's just a thing. It increases the strength of the join between the forward and rear fuselage and helps hide that join line a little bit. So we separated that bit out. So bit of glue on that. I mean, obviously, don't wipe glue on your trousers. That'd be a really stupid thing to do. Obviously, if you're in a workshop and your trousers are already covered in all the glue, it's fine. Okay. So that's one. Let's push that in without getting glue on my fingers. Failed. There we go. So that's one. That's two. Get them in there. Lovely. So that's joined there. They use those two little pins to help. It was just a tidier way of doing it. So that's fine. So that's all that. So all we've got left is that, which is the glass. Yes, that's the right number of pieces. So I know that sounds crazy. That was all the gluing. We've done all the gluing. It's just like there's everything else is with magnets on this ridiculous model. So how do these windows work? Well, we wanted people to be able to light this model. It doesn't come with a lighting kit, but there is loads of room inside it. It's a nice big hollow model. And it's got really cool features that we've discovered by people lighting it. Now, I don't know if you're able to see this. So as part of the way of letting resin drain in the garage, I wonder if I could use my torch, maybe. Yeah, so you see there's actually the rear doors of the garage are actually open. And I did that to let the resin drain, but it has the added benefit, all the inside of the garage is modeled, has the added benefit that when you put lights inside it, it actually lights the garage really coolly. You sort of get that light coming out through the garage when you've got the ramp open, which is really cool. But obviously when the ramp door is on, you can't see it, which is nice. Yep. So that led us to think, oh, okay, so we want it to light, we need to put the windows in. So we've got one window here. We've got two on this side, so that's the captain's quarters. We've got this one here, oh, there, and then we've got 2 on the side there. I knew there was another window. Where's the other window gone? It'll be in the box. So, fine. You sort of think, well, we should have put them in first, right? And like, yeah, that would have been easier to put them in first. You can put them in first if you really want to. However, what that does mean is that if you want, when you come to paint this, you'll have to really carefully mask these windows out. Oh, he failed. That was me not waiting long enough. Then I pushed that off. Very good. Super glue gel takes a lot longer to dry, which gives you a lot of less chance of fucking it up, but you do have to wait and be patient, and I wasn't being patient. So we thought, well, so the ideal scenario is that, I should put a bit more glue on that now. Idiot. Yeah. We thought, well, the ideal situation is that you could paint it and then put the windows in, which is a little bit of a challenge from a modeling point of view. But we thought, fuck it, we'll work it out. So what we did was we invented the Carrack stick. Now we've been using the Carrack stick a lot for this end of the stick, for using it as a way of picking up magnetized parts and putting them in and out of the model. If we look at the other end of the stick, it's a weird triangular shape. And this weird triangular shape fits into these weird triangular holes in the windows, like that, at weird jaunty angles. So each one has a different size little hole that goes in at a particular angle. Cool. Why, you may ask? It's a good question. Glad you asked. So, it is technically possible to insert these windows through this hole in the bottom and this hole in the front, right? But obviously, when you've got fat fingers like me, you're not going to do it with by your finger going in. So we have done it so that you get the window. So let's do this one. So this one is that window on the side. So we've positioned this. So I will just point out that's quite a loose fit. Okay. Deliberately so, because we want to be able to pull this tool out without pulling this back out. So it's not quite balanced, but I could shake it off. So we think it's like the perfect amount of hold. So this is set at the exact angle so that you can insert it through here, and you can sort of see when you've got it in place, and you can hold it with the tool, because its hole is perfectly angled to do it. And then I'll be able to pull it out and leave it inside. Obviously, I didn't put any glue in it, so it hasn't stayed in. But that's how the windows are inserted. So each window has the right thing so that you can put it in the right angle to make it possible to do. I know, Flan, that is crazy. I need my fucking head testing. That is what's going on here. I don't know anyone else who does this sort of shit to this degree of insanity. But I like problem solving, and this felt like a problem that could be solved, i.e. the problem of, I think it's because I'm such a shit painter and I just really didn't want to have to mask all the windows. If we're honest, right, so I'll put a bit of glue on it. I'm going to be careful not to touch the other bits. So it's going to go in through here, and then I've got it in place and I can hold it. So I'm just going to sit here and hold it for a little bit while that glue goes off. So that's cool. So I could have pre-painted this. Lazy problems require insane solutions. It's so true. It is so true. Now, obviously, you're thinking, well, what if you've already glued the canopy in the front? We don't glue the canopy in the front. Don't do that. It's on magnets. So you can keep taking that out. Oh, not quite. So yeah. So I'm just going to hold this. I'll say, if I wanted this to glue quicker, I could have used a thinner glue. I didn't have to use the gel. For this, that might have been sensible, but I've only got gel with me today, so that's fine. The other thing I could have done if I was being super brave is put a bit of baking powder on the inside of this, because that's a activator for super glue. It's not working. Oh no, it is. There we go. As I was pulling it out, it looked like I was pulling out with it, but what I was doing, I could see the Carrack stick inside through the glass. So I thought the glass was moving, but it wasn't. It was just the Carrack stick pulling out. So I shall try and use my torch to show that we have indeed, here we go, put a window in. There it is, glowing away. So it will actually glow more than if it was just a hole. You can see on that side, it doesn't really light up. Now, because we've got an actual window piece in there, it actually lights up. And that's because it's the same effect you get when you do a etched acrylic. Because we're putting it through we sort of deliberately sanded these a bit so they're rough, they will glow when you put light onto them. So, ooh. Yeah, it's very clever, isn't it? Right, we'll braven one of the ones at the back while that's glowing. So we just have to be slightly careful with these back ones that we get right to left, because these are symmetrical. So that must be that one. I suppose that's the advantage of the stick. You wouldn't be able to put it in the wrong window because it's already holding it at the right angle. So dry fit it first. So wiggle it in and check you know where you're going with it. So that's fine. So come off.
I have to agree with Westbrook Drew. Quite clever indeed.
Quite clever, you say. Thank God John was... Oh, there we go. As he loses the thing inside. No, I am actually quite pleased with this. If I don't say so myself, I am actually really pleased that we came up with the solution to this, and we created a 3D print. I think this is an absolute testament to 3D printing rather than us. This is what 3D printing is good at. You need a custom tool to do something, cool, print it. It's like we've invented a tool to go with to fix the problem. So it's going to, this is the, don't come off. Trying to not get glue on other surfaces, there we go. There we go, we're in place. All black magic. So that's, I will say the biggest risk while you're doing this is don't do this if you're getting frustrated with it. If you're getting frustrated, walk the fuck away. That's just a general modeling thing. Because what will happen is, you can see me holding this, right down at the bottom near the table are those front little spikes. So easy to break off if you're like, oh, fuck it, and smashing it around. Same with the ones on the end. Don't do modeling if it makes you frustrated. I've got to be honest. It's why I don't paint. I always thought, oh, my camera's gone by there. I always thought, no, it'll be a really chilled out, relaxing thing to paint things. Makes me so fucking frustrated. I have painted some Imperial Guard back in the day. They're actually really nice. I was really pleased with them. Fucking hell, I hated doing it. Holy shit, they were just the most stressful things I've ever done in my life. Hated every second of actually painting them. So there we go. So that's in, we'll do a quick light test. See it glowing away there. Yeah, absolutely detested it. Can't stand painting, hate it. Don't have the patience. I have patience for loads of other things though, but not painting. Don't know why. Hey ho, we learn things. Oh, I've not dry fitted this. So if there's any fairness in life, this is going to go horribly badly because I didn't dry fit it. We're good. Now holding this at a really stupid angle. Gonna have to turn the heater on as well. So this building holds the heat really well, but it's so windy, it's sort of blowing cold air through all the cracks in the building, and it's cooling it down quite quick. And my hands are starting to actually borderline shiver because I'm not moving around. It's just like, it's going to be harder to do if I'm shivering. So we'll just wait for this to glue, and then I'll turn the heater on.
Archer has a good question. He wants to know if there's another person in our group that does painting streams for the models.
So if you zoom up a little bit in the chat, you'll see a chatter called Nightly G. Ask him. He's one of our painters. Why isn't he doing it? Moan at him. I can turn my heater on. So the other person who does stream paint, there is actually someone who does stream painting our models. Another one of our painters, Mr. Miserable G. If someone could throw a link to Miserable G in chat to his Twitch channel. So he's been painting I think he's done 2 or 3 now of our models. He paints them for other people. He paints them for himself. He's someone who quite a few people have commissioned paint jobs of our models. So we've known him for a long time. Miz is awesome. And he painted all of the stuff that was on the Kraken. So when we did the big Kraken diorama for CitizenCon 2018, he painted all of the stuff that was on the Kraken, every single bit. He also painted all the models that are in CRG's reception. So it is, he definitely has a lot of experience and knowledge of our kits and our models and all of that jazz. So I can thoroughly recommend him. And I say he definitely streams painting our models, which is good. I'm going to put this blade down. It's actually disturbing me having this table saw blade sticking out. I know it's not turned on. I can't turn it on. But just in case. Yes. Oh, yeah. Can someone link that? You have linked. Let me
just. I think. Yes. Okay. I just want to make sure. Mini Flames threw the Twitter link into chat. That is excuse me.
Yes. Red Arrow.
Red Arrow. Beautiful work. Beautiful work.
It is very, very,
as
very
shown
cool.
off by CIG, by the way.
Yes, that is it. And I love that paint job. It's such a clever paint job. Such a clever paint job. I will stream eventually. Yeah, so to be fair to Nightly Gaming, they have just moved into a massive new model shop, which is a hell of a lot of work. Moving into new places is always a hell of a lot of work. He's had a lot more work to do than I have, because I walked into an empty building to turn into a wood workshop. He walked into an empty old ex-retail space to turn into a nice, lovely gaming retail space, which is a lot harder to do than just, well, I'll just put a pallet of wood over there. And it's just like, I'll roll my tools in. It doesn't have to be tidy and clean and have, general public wandering around in it. So he's got a lot more work to do. I don't know whether you know about this, Nightly Gaming, actually. So I don't have any of it here. But for Christmas, Cal's bought me a book called Little Wars by H.G. Wells. And I loved it. So if you've not come across it, this is for Nightly Gaming and anyone else, thoroughly recommend it. It is the first ever published set of rules for a tabletop war game. It was done by H.G. Wells of War of the Worlds fame. Exactly. So the very first tabletop war game. Precisely. I was obsessed with it. I really want to play it. I want to play it. Now, we couldn't, because it requires having these field guns, these 4.7-inch naval field guns based on Boer War British service army field guns that were pulled around by horses. And they were made by a company called Britons that only made these particular guns between 1912 and 1917, and then they changed the design. And the big thing with the ones that H.G. Wells had, they're really well depicted in the book, but they had a little screw elevator and all this sort of stuff to sort of get them to move right and everything. And they are fucking impossible to find, these original ones. But we managed to find 2 of them, and we won them at auction. So we have 2 original 1915 4.7-inch Britons die-cast Boer War guns. Exactly the same ones that are in H.G. Wells's Little Wars books. Now, the unfortunate thing is you need about 12 of these things to actually play the game, and both of them are broken because they're 110 years old and were played with a lot. But between the two of them, we have all the... yes, I know they are insanely rare. It's like, they took a lot of fucking tracking down, I'll tell you. But that's what Cal's bought me for my birthday. It was the guns. So we got two of them, but they're both broken, but they're both broken in different ways. So between them, we have all the parts. So we can either take them apart, which I don't mind doing because we can put them back together, take them apart and actually take castings from the things. So yes, we could print them, but I desperately want to remake them in the right materials. I actually want to metal cast them, and I want to get them... yeah, honestly, Nightly Game, these things are past wearing gloves. These are played with to shit. I mean, one of them is just about... It does fire. One of them will fire stuff, but its leaf spring... its leaf spring's fine. What's wrong? Yeah, its bore's probably a little bit rusted out. Although I think the barrel's brass, I think. Either way, we will be doing all the tests and everything on it. And we will be getting them to a point where we can replicate them, because I would really, really like to be able to have I know people do play Little Wars, but I defy them that they're playing it true to form. Oh, probably some of them are pure lead. I don't know. I don't think they are actually. I don't think they're heavy enough. If I'm perfectly honest, I also think lead's too soft. So the interesting thing about these guns is that all the parts, I would probably say, are more likely to be brass, because they're all quite mechanical. It's all spring loaded and all that kind of stuff. I think if it was lead, it wouldn't be able to take the tension of the springs and stuff in it, because it's quite a powerful leaf spring in it. So I think it's more likely that they're brass than lead. I know the little soldiers were often pure lead. But these things are quite robust, and I say they have big firing pins in them, and they launch. So the idea is they actually fire these little wooden pegs, and that's what knocks over the tin soldiers. So I really want to have the first kind of playthrough of Little Wars at Nightly Gaming shop, because he has all the space to be able to do this, because the fucking board has to be massive. H.G. Wells played this outside in his garden. But Nightly Gaming have the room to do it, so we can make original guns and actually have these, have them. Yeah, no, you should come around and see them. I still have those prints that you left in my car as well. I assume that you just reprinted them at this point. But yeah, no, I don't have them here, unfortunately. We've showed them on stream a few times. And yeah, I'd really like to play the original war gaming tabletop game for real, have a tournament, and actually have original spec Britain's guns recast by us, which would be really, really cool. So yeah, I was really pleased. I'm really stoked for it. It's just, unfortunately, it's just one of those projects that is going to be... how's the build going? We're nearly done. We are nearly done. Promised. Tungsten is nice. Yeah, just doing carbide. It'll be fine. Well, I mean, the thing is, our furnace will go to brass temperatures, so we could cast them in brass. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. That would be nice. I don't do tungsten. We don't have that kind of meat. Yeah, that does sound like a Nightly Gaming 10th anniversary project. When's your 10th anniversary? Just tells me how much fucking time we have. Right, so we've got three windows in. So we've got some more windows to do. So this is the double window. So to make this a little bit easier, let's hit the fucking hell, that button. It's the last button I pressed. I should press the last button first. Oh, work then. So again, this is both windows at once, still through the front. Helps have a look at the right side of it. Carefully turn it over. So this does both of these windows in one go, just because trying to do both separately, I discovered was really painful to do. So, do with my torch. So I'm sort of just dry fitting just to work out, right, okay, yeah, that's how I hold it. That's fine. Just get used to it. It clicks in quite nicely. It's obviously come off my stick, but we want it to do that. That's the thing. If it was really tight on the stick, then It was really tight on the stick. When we try and remove the stick, unless we're literally sitting there till the glue has completely gone off, it would be a fucking nightmare. Oh, 2023. That sounds excellent. That's the kind of timescales I like. Fucking next year, mate. Although, actually, they're the worst timescales in a way. Oh, it's fine. We'll do that next year then. Nice one. Yeah, see you there. Book my tickets right now. And then, of course, you forget all about it. But yeah, no, for sure. We genuinely want to do it. Because I'm a massive H.G. Wells fan. Everyone knows this. You'll have noticed in that, my hammerhead is the Thunderchild. Oh, Daj noticed when the pips come up now, they actually show the ship names now, which I was very excited for. Right, so we may have fucked it up. There she blows. We're in. You can kind of, you probably can't see on camera. You can see it obviously when you're getting in there. So I'm just going to hold it. So we're missing one bit of window, which is probably in the box. Can you hear that really annoying siren?
Slightly.
My landlord hasn't fixed that yet. So this all used to be one building, one business, and I won't say they've downsized. They've just focused on what they do in the other half of the building, and because this half of the building, what they did here, i.e. the spray booth stuff, wasn't very profitable, so they ditched it a few years ago. But there's like a klaxon that goes off every time they open the door in the reception, so that people working here knew someone was opening the door. It's really annoying because someone break out the banhammer. Oh yeah, someone will do that. My hands are busy. Plus, I don't know how to do it.
I think that's a Westbrook Drew request.
Drew and Daj, I think, have that power.
There we go.
Okay, I'm going to try and retract the Carrack stick. I don't think we've been successful. No, still attached. Okay.
This is the kind of quality precision work that you need perfectly still hands and a well-placed klaxon alarm in the background to mess you up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Shivering hands and a klaxon randomly going off every 5 minutes. Now, if I just hold that there, I could leave the Carrack stick in place and just carefully balance it on the edge of the table. And then going back to talk to you guys while we wait for that to dry. This is the thing. Just it's so tempting just to do this too quickly. Right, while that's drying, we can find the bit we're missing. That's what we could do. It'll still be here somewhere.
Look at that, keeping the parts
Says
together.
with confidence. But yet, I see it not. See it not.
One of the cats ran off with it?
Possible. Blame the cats. I like it. No, it'll be still on my desk because we obviously did this somewhere else last time and then I gathered everything up. So basically, there's another window. It's probably the easiest to put in, so I'm not going to worry about it. So yes, any questions while we're waiting for this to dry? While I drink my coffee. Oh, I'll tell you what I have done. I have been working on the Covalex unit. So, long-term fans of the show will know the Covalex unit. Long-term fans of Star Citizen will recognize the Covalex unit.
Hey.
So
I recognize that Covalex unit.
Indeed. It is obviously a pick-up and drop-off Covalex shipping box unit thingy. So long-term fans of this channel will know this is an ongoing project. So what's been happening with it? Well, we've stripped the paint off a lot of it, so it's now it's all the doors are now stripped back again, waiting for repaint. We've stripped the gas cylinder out of it. We have there's a box there with all the new stepper and the printed things for the stepper. So yeah, so it needs its chassis scrubbing down. I still haven't decided what color we're doing it though. So that's a slight thing. But I might want to do it green, since they come in so many colors now. So they come in green, white, blue and white, also blue, silver and white. So I might want to do the green one. Which is like the one you get in Horizon, I think. People can correct me. I think you get it's green in Horizon. So I might do it in green, or I might do it in the FGL colors. Either way, it's not going red, I don't think. So we need to get all this sort of Covalex red off it, so that we can repaint it. So yeah, so things are happening to that. So it's looking a bit barer than it was before, but yeah, that's because it's having all its paint ripped off. Which is all very exciting.
We do have a few questions about the models in chat. Nagitech
go
ahead. Wants to know if you're going to prime and sand down this model.
I am not, no. I could do, but I'm not going to. I say we really need to do a sort of painter stream. So we do have it on our website, on our tutorials page, 2 sets of videos now. So we have a set done by a prop maker friend of mine called Misha, who does all the steps, including the priming and sanding steps. So if you want to look at how that should be done, go and watch her video on that. The second set of tutorials is done by me, and I didn't do that because I am not a painter. I am rubbish at painting, and I don't feel that me showing you someone who doesn't know how to paint showing other people who don't know how to paint is a good idea. I'll let people who know how to paint show people who don't know how to paint, including me, how to paint, and then I might do it. So we're saying we'll talk to Nightly Game, we'll talk to Miz, and try and get both of them hopefully to do some priming tutorials. Basically, fill a primer and a very high, a tickle, as we would say, with the high grit sandpaper with a wet sand. We'll take any sign of print lines out of this thing, and yeah, all of that good stuff. You can do it with a spray can. If you're doing it with spray can, I would recommend a Montana paint. I think I should have a Montana base coat here. Filler primer. I know that. What would you suggest, Nightly Gaming? What do you use to base coat these? He'll be able to tell you what is another good base coaty type paint. But yeah, I am not a painter. I'm not going to tell you how to paint. There's only so much that I can realistically tell you to do. Right, okay. So that failed miserably. It happens sometimes, I guess. So clearly, I did not put glue on the right surfaces there. Happens. Let's try it again. This is where we really do risk gluing ourselves to this model. There you go. Got glue on my fingers now. Now I'm going to pick the model up. Never going to be able to let it go again. Adam Savage would say, failure is always an option. Oh, there we go. That looks better. I don't think I had it all the way in before. That's why that looks so much better this time. That'll probably help. Freelancer has magnetized landing gears and doors. Side door, not cargo door.
I think there were some questions earlier in chat about
So
use of magnets on other models.
Yeah, so Freelancer model, so this is the Freelancer and Max. The back cargo door isn't magnetic just because there's just nowhere to put the magnets. It's really annoying. I wish we could have done magnets on it. So it just sort of lays closed or like push fits closed or lays open. But the side door to the Freelancer is magnetic. So you've either got a closed one or one that's deployed with a ladder. All the landing gear are magnetic on the Freelancer. What else is magnetic on the Freelancer? That might be it. The turrets are cool on the Freelancer models because they, like, when you spin the left-hand side one, the right-hand side one spins as well. They're actually locked together as they should be, which is quite nice. That's just something else that's magnetized in the Freelancer. Perhaps not. Perhaps it's just the landing gear and the side door. There we go. Odd that when you put it in the right place, it stays in. Right, so the last one that we have to do, which I'm not going to glue in, because I need to put that other window in first. So this one it looks like a ridiculous window. Why? What is this window piece? This isn't a window, it is, I promise. So on the cargo bay, you've got 4 windows around the outside. So instead of doing all of those as separate ones, we just basically have this square section that just sits on top. So you can just sort of see that just slots on top of the back of it. Then when you turn it upside down, that's done all the windows. If I get my torch back out, hopefully see what that does. There, it fell out. Hold it with my finger. That hand. So you can see it lights up all of the windows that I don't have my finger in front of. So yeah, but I'm not going to glue that in because I will find the window piece. Because I don't think... Yeah, I won't get the last window. So the last window is this window here, the viewing window. I won't get that in once I've put this cargo bay on it. No, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put a tiny bit of glue on it. Then it'll come back out. So I'll just literally put a teeny tiny dab there. But just enough to hold it in for now. Then we could pop it out later. So, leave that in. And super glue is super. So, that we're just going to push fit in. I say you really don't need to glue that in. We've got it, so it's a nice push fit. So right, okay, so that's it done. We have actually done it. So let's set it up on its landing gear. So now we've got the last thing to do is to put it together with its magnets. So we've got all these parts. So let's have it in landed mode because we don't have the stand with us. So front landing gear. So that's magnetized in. So this is the deployed landing gear. So that sits in there. We want the ramp. So we put the ramp's got the little rams, the little holes for them to go just to sit into. Then the magnets hold the ramp on. Gives it a little bit of flex. I love the little bit of flex the magnets give you. So it sort of sits on the ground like the ramp should. This is really cool. We've got our front canopy, which will pop in there. Oh, sorry, it was off camera there. So we just popped our front canopy in there. We need a turret on the bottom. I'm really bad at this. Is it the manned turret or the unmanned turret on the bottom? You'd think I'd fucking know by now. But I don't. Someone tell me, manned or unmanned on the bottom? Manned. Thank you. Dodge is a Carrack owner. I knew he'd know. So, manned on the bottom.
GR Westbrook has actually a really good question. He wants to know if the clear resin with dye is more brittle than the model resin.
Ooh. Not something I've stress tested. So I don't know the answer to that question. I apologize, Westbrook True. I can't help you. Right, so a manned turret on the bottom. Let's put that one. That one. I kind of want the flat.
We do have to do it for science.
For science! There it is. Well, that's an unmanned. So I've kind of got 2 Carracks worth of pieces in one box, which was a mistake. What's an unmanned? Okay, we'll find that in a minute. So, cargo pods. So, 3 cargo pods, so that's fine. We then want our landed wings, shields. That's cool. So she'll now sit on her landing gear, so that's fine. So that's her landed. Got a little rover. A little rover there. Westbrook Drew made rover, in fact. Now, if she's needs a unmanned turret on the top, we decided. So a little unmanned turret on the top. A landed Pisces. So have a landed Pisces in the cargo hangar. She is in there. Now, side turrets. I suppose... Should we have them deployed? No, we'll pretend. No, I'll tell you what. We're going to pretend we're at fucking... This is us on the ground at Jump Town. Turrets are deployed.
Except now we know what we're doing.
Except now we know what we're doing. Just, So we've got deployed side turrets, which should probably have a deployed top turret, shouldn't we? Action scene, top turret. Cool. So that's defending us on the ground, sitting there, all happy. We need aerials. Aerials in or aerials out? I like having the aerials out just because we can. I know. I know that's fucking ridiculous. Just like, well, our model can have aerials out, so let's do aerials out. So, one little aerial, big aerial, big aerial. Because we'll have our scanners out, so that we're scanning for incoming ships about to try and fuck us up at Jump Town. Big aerial. She is sitting, defending herself, waiting for the drugs to be Jump Town set sold separately. Next from Mattel. So that's the aerials out. We'll do aerials in as well, just to show how that works. So we've got. I mean, obviously, it would have been lovely to be able to have actual folding aerials. When you look at toys that have proper folding stuff on, they sacrifice the detail to be able to have that mechanical parts in it. I always think to have huge hinges and things, and that's something that we haven't done. We've just got you've got you've just got magnetic sets of deployed or undeployed, and yada yada yada. So let's say we wanted to have a normal landed state where everything was... So undeployed turrets. These are just push fit. They don't really need magnets. Undeployed turrets, we'll take our top turret off and have our sort of at-rest turret. That, and just to show how it works, Pisces can feck off, and we'll have... closed cargo. And there she is. So our Carrack model. It's fun. It's got so many replaceable parts, and it's like, yeah, I like how complex the Carrack is. I like having all these little removable dinky parts. So yeah, just to reiterate why this is a cool thing. So on models we've had before, there has been an issue that like you would have a piece like this that's magnetically put in, and Angie, how are you? And you'd have to get in with a scalpel and kind of lift it out like that. And obviously that's annoying. It's really annoying when you've painted the damn thing. So that's why we've got this Carrack stick, which can magnetically remove our parts. So once they're painted, we've still got that option of being able to do that. But that is still magnetically held in, so it won't fall out by itself. There you go. And that's the Carrack. It's been a really fun model. I like the I've got an in-flight Pisces as well. It's a nice little model. Hopefully watching me build it has shown it's not an absolute nose of a ship to build. It's quite a time-consuming one. It's been quite a long build. We've done it in 3 parts. But I do think it's worth the time, to put into it. It's probably about the same complexity as the Arrow, probably. I learned like 2 weeks ago that the Pisces stand is made to fit inside the hang. Does it? Fuck yeah, so it does. Who the fuck knew?
Look at that. Yeah. I'm impressed.
God, it's like we think about this shit, isn't it? So yes, it's a nice model. There's some nice cool features on it that we've not done before. And yeah, we are really pleased with it. While we're here, I shall try and take the Sabre off its supports. So this is our first Sabre test print. So this is far from finished on the Sabre. So if we can get it off without it breaking, which is a possibility but not a probability, and I'll explain why in a second. So this is the exact metrics of in-game, so nothing has been adjusted on it. It's just been fixed so that it will print. So the wings are a bit thin. I think the wings are something like 1/5 of a millimeter or something. Ludicrous. So the chance of us getting it off without breaking them is unlikely, I fear. So the Sabre is one of our next dioramas to come out. After seeing this print, I can now say that our current plan, not a confirmation, is that we're going to do this like the Arrow and the Pisces dioramas, in that it will be in a pack of 4, and you'll get 3 in flight and 1 landing. That's my current thinking. Reason being that it's a bit too small and fiddly to do separate landing gears and stuffs. Oh, no, there goes 1 wing. The wings are so goddamn thin. Oh, 1 wing survived. So
now it's an accurate, damaged Sabre.
Yes, accurately damaged Sabre now. Dope. So yeah, so this is why we do this. So this is our first print, and you'll see how waffer thin. You can see that all the light coming through those wings and these side bits. They are so incredibly thin. So it's ridiculous. So we'll have to fatten up these wings so that they will print and not be this floppy mess. Same with all of these. So this just has no guns on it either at the moment. So same with all these bits. These need fattening up. We haven't done any detail, any panel lining on it yet. And as I say, we'll need to do the landing gear. So this has currently got its landing gear open. So we'll close up its landing gear doors so that we'll print it with its landing gear closed in flight with its wings folded out. And then we'll have another one with its landing gears out and its wings folded back like this. So we'll need to work out how we're going to do its engines and print its engines without it failing on the print. So there's a few things. It's now a print issue. So the actual ship itself is there, but we need to fatten things up that need to be fattened. And when I say fattened, I don't mean like inflated, like potatoes. We will literally make the wings thicker without making them wider or losing any of the top detail. We'll literally, we sort of got them as a separate piece of geometry now, so we can take the top surface and the bottom surface and move them further apart to create a thicker wing without losing any of the detail top and bottom. So we'll still, because you can see all the little, don't drop it, John. You can see, I don't know if you will be able to see on this. Focus. You can see we've got all the little detail on the wing there, all its little aerofoils and things. So all of that will stay, but we'll just make the whole thing deeper. And it won't look silly, even though we'll probably make it 4 times the depth it should be. These Pisces wings, which I don't think look ludicrous. See how tiny and thin they are? They are 5 times the thickness they should be, but they don't look it. Like, I think it's just your brain just goes, well, it's a model. It has to be a minimum thickness to make it work. But those wings are 5 times as thick as they should be. But it honestly doesn't look like it. So yeah. So we'll be doing the same thing with the. Yes, kind of here, Scott. I think it's also just that you have to have it a minimum thickness, and I think your brain just accepts it. It's just like, yeah. But yeah, so that's our first print. I mean, this is never going to be a complete thing, but the important thing is to print it, because until you've printed it, you don't know what your problems are. And as soon as we get it so that a printer can print it, we print it at the scale it's going to be at as a product, because that tells us everything we need to know. And yeah, it also tells us that a Sabre does not fit in a Carrack. Because, that's what these models are for, is just playing the game of what fits and what doesn't fit. No. I mean, you can sort of crash it in there, but it's not going to fit. Cool. Well, thank you for joining. I said it would be a quickish stream tonight. It has been a quickish stream, but it's nice to got this finished. Carrack is now done. If you go and fatten up, it won't fit. Sabre Raven will fit. I think the Raven's the same size as the Sabre. It's 25 meters long, I think. So I think it's about the same size. I know it doesn't have the folding wings, but I don't think it's much smaller. The Raven's bigger than it looks, I always think. So it's cool. Thank you very much for joining me, VMXCO.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you on board again. And yeah, we will. I know we're back in 2 weeks' time. We may well be back in a week's time as well. What we might do is because we're in the middle of this massive job, which does make things a bit more difficult. We will probably we will stream from the workshop and do makery stuff at least every fortnight. But what we may end up doing is, on alternative weeks, just playing some Star Citizen with the JRDF crew. Because that's less setup for me, and it's also a bit more of a chilled thing for me, because I'm in here every day, literally every day of the week at the moment, building shit for 10, 12 hours a day. So sometimes I kind of want to play a bit of Star Citizen. and we have to do it to stream as a really good excuse. That means I can play some Star Citizen. So I think we'll say next week we'll probably be playing some Star Citizen. Leela stepdaughter now has a PC that can run Star Citizen, so we might be able to drag her in as well, which will be quite fun. And let's get this Hammerhead crewed up. We like the Hammerhead. The Hammerhead works so well as a good sort of streaming ship. I think just because we can all fly in it and cause some serious fucking damage in it. But yeah, I kind of want to take myself out of my comfort zone in Star Citizen a bit, in that I don't shoot people. Excellent, Flan. Let's do it, because it's like I want to try all the missions at least once and fail at them. But at least if there's other people there that know how to shoot guns, at least I won't die too quickly. So we will have a JRDF stream, play some Star Citizen next Sunday, usual time. We'll get as many of us in as we can and do some. We'll put out onto. I'll get Daj to tweet out. Obviously, usual time. We'll pick a location to start at. So if you want to come in and join us, please come in and join us. If you want to come in and you want to join us on the stream for some Star Citizen shenanigans, put your. How can we do this? I kind of want. It'd be nice to have your names in advance so I can add you to the friends list and to the party, so that we don't spend the first fucking hour of the thing people going, "Can I come and play it?" It's like that kind of thing, because I've watched streamers do that and it's annoying. So if you want to come and join us, we should find somewhere suitable in the Discord server, the JDF Discord server, to say, yes, I'm in, and we'll do it that way. And then we can kind of get a crew together of who's playing and get you all permissions to get into the audio and all that kind of stuff. So you won't need, so like people like Flan and stuff, you won't need cameras, just audio. And yeah, sounds good. Sweet, excellent. So we shall see you next week for a bit of Star Citizen shenanigans, and we'll be back in here in 2 weeks' time, and we'll build some shit. We'll do some live table sawing or something. See if I can cut my hand off again. Yeah, at least one good injury a day at the moment, as it should be. But yeah, nothing too fatal yet. So we shall see you next time. Tatty byes.